Sure.
Buzz, you've been a part of a lot of basketball games in your career. Where does Diggs' performance today rank in terms of some of the greatest you've ever seen?
I'd have to think about it. I don't know how many games I've been a head coach, probably over 600. He has video game tendencies. I think I've said that publicly before. He has an ability to score at his size that's uncommon. He can gain space because he's always played as an undersized guard, and his ability to make shots, particularly off the dribble, is rare. And so it was fun to watch. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for our team. And to some degree, we needed what he did today, similar to a couple of other games that have been in Xfinity since we've lived here.
I assume by now you're aware he was 1 point off equaling the record. Was there any consideration to
Coach mentioned that to me on the radio show. I did not know. I haven't memorized all the numbers of the history. I know some of them. I could tell a little bit by the environment that something must have been happening. I thought he probably handled it with great humility and relative to time score momentum, he probably handled it the right way, not to be cause angst with the crowd or the record, but whoever's record it was that earned it, he earned second place of that record, and so that was good.
Buzz, the 32-8 run to end the first half, you guys, I think, held him to one basket over the last 13 minutes in that period. What was the approach? What was the execution?
So, as you know, over the last 3 weeks, we've been trying to find different ways to be successful for longer periods of time, not just offensively, defensively, out of timeouts, dead balls. How can we play with a lower turnover rate? How can we define the quality of our shots more? How can we influence the types of shots the opponent is shooting? What language, what pitchers can we give to do a better job controlling the glass, no matter which team shoots it? From a strategic standpoint, whether we're in man, whether we're in zone, how do we teach rebounding? How do we practice rebounding? I thought our endurance has continued to increase. I think we were down 5 when Miles made the free throw at UCLA, down 5 with 6:18 to play, down 5 at USC with 7:30 to play. Since we've been back, we've just replayed those scenarios. Like, show it, literally show it. Here's what happened. Okay, Red, you are Maryland. We're going to play it again. Do the same with USC. And then yesterday we took scenarios that have transpired in the Big Ten over the last 7 days, Iowa and Purdue. All right, you're Iowa, we're Purdue. How many timeouts? Are you in the bonus? Just trying to not just wait till the day of the game to get those reps, to increase our endurance and to also continue to have a chance to execute on both sides better. I thought in the first half, it does look better when Diggy's making shots or anybody's making shots. That helps the emotional stability, but I thought we were able to execute for a longer period of time. We didn't turn the ball over except for 3 times. That would be a part of the run. We finished the game with 87% defensive rebound percentage. That would be a part of the run. We played with above a 40% offensive rebound percentage. That would be above the run. I don't know in that run where both teams were in the bonus, but we were in position. I know we were making shots, but we were in position within the margins that we've been struggling with to make it a game. And then in the second half, I don't know the exact timing yet, but the first couple of minutes were probably okay, and then they had a similar run. And if we were to diagnose that run, it would be the exact opposite of why we were on that run in the first half. Were we taking what we define great and perfect shots? We played with a very high turnover rate. How many one-pass threes did we give up? And so I'm not asking our guys to play perfect. We're just trying to create more awareness of what we've learned over the last 3 weeks of what has caused us strife. Long answer.
But again, how encouraging is it to get a defensive performance at the end of the first half, like the one where you guys had, you only gave up one basket in the last?
I think, again, we're continuing to try multiple things, and some of the things we were doing today off a make, off a free throw, out of a dead ball, on a miss. We've been practicing those things, but the symmetry of those 4 things today, we had never done those things, and all 4 of those answers were different. Being able to execute multiple things is somewhat difficult at times, but if you're not proficient in one thing, maybe you can be okay in multiple things. And I think some of the multiple things at least caused them at times to be unstable.
Yeah. At this point of the season, what pieces do you feel are coming together that show this team can contend in the Big Ten?
I just saw you. Go one more time. I'm sorry.
At this point in your guys' season, what pieces do you feel are coming together that show this team can contend in the Big Ten?
I really admire the resilience of our group, and I'm very grateful for the creativity of our coaches. We've continued to learn with each passing week. I think we're committed to the process of learning not only our players, but learning the league and continuing to find measurements within the margins to give ourselves a chance. I think our players' spirit in regards to receiving that information has been arguably the best thing that we've done. And their willingness to practice those things and be aware of those things and listen to those things in timeouts and pre-games has been tremendous. And we've just got to continue to build confidence in applying that through the process. And so a lot of that hopefully can transpire as the next 13 games unfold.
The broadcast showed that you guys did go into the locker room at halftime. You guys instead stayed around the loading dock. Wondering kind of what went into that decision. What you guys do?
When you're winning, it's easy, in my opinion, to point to Diggy, and if he scores close to half your points, he should be pointed to. And when you're losing, it's easy to point at Buzz, and Buzz should be pointed to. And transparently, with zero, I'm not being condescending at all. There's so many elements that go into winning, and there's so many elements that go into losing that I don't think that it's fair to the program just to identify only the things that are happening in between the lines. When are you practicing? How are you practicing? What are you practicing? What are you doing in the film room? What is their comprehension level of the film room? Is what you're teaching in the film room applied in practice? And so, like any industry would do, you're trying to find anything that you can to study, to identify that would help. Thus far, we have never been ahead at halftime in a conference game. So I'm not saying that's why we went to the loading dock. But there is some data that suggests, even though it's silly, going in there is not helping. And so as we're walking off the floor, I'm not aware of the exact number of the run. I'm aware that we're winning. And I'm also aware of under 22-year-old young men who have external pressure that I'm unaware of, that going in there and recapping a lot of strategy is probably not necessarily going to help. So I'm not saying that stretching and having many timeouts while we're stretching is the right thing. It was just sometimes my belief, change of pace, change of place equals change of perspective. And so I was just trying to accomplish that. And it didn't work. They went on a 20-4 run. But at least we tried. And at least they were like, hey, coach, no, we're not going in there. Go over there. What are we going to do? I don't know. Just go that direction. And then I'm assigning our coordinators, hey, after 2 stretches, you talked about your buckets. And then that's just how we did it. But we're trying transparently to do that in every scenario.
Hey, Buzz, congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
The second half, when these guys kind of rally around, specifically in the late second half, and Diggy kind of is more encouraged by seeing guys like Darius and Alex hit those threes at the end and how happy he is for his teammates. I know in a vacuum, such a performance is hard to translate and get to go forward into this tough schedule, 3 ranked opponents coming up, 2 of them on the road. But is there something tangible you can take from him passing the ball to his teammates and seeing those guys, seeing those shots go in a Big Ten win that you can lead on to this road trip?
Yeah, we'll show them the right pictures. And I think in some manner, even though the results haven't, we've said in here before, Buzz, you're taking too many threes. And I understand the question, particularly if you're not making them. But if you're not making them at the rim and you're not making them from 3, none of it is aesthetically pleasing. When you make them, there's a portion of you that thinks maybe you should shoot more of them. And so I think when you remove the emotion, you're trying to define not Diggy, not DA, not Alex. We're trying to play anybody that can play to the scouting report of what we've studied that can help us win, no matter if they're new to college or if this is their newest college. And I think that we played Alex a couple of minutes in California. We played Colin a couple of minutes in California. Willie's been hurt for the last 7 weeks. Willie just got released. Considering what has transpired in 2026, you're trying to find anybody that can play down, back, down, and do their job at the highest level. And when you're playing with the rotation that we have and have had, that margin is almost invisible. And so any contribution to what you're trying to accomplish offensively, defensively, special teams, our basket assist rate is going to be low. It was low today, but because we scored more points than we scored more points at half, I think, than some of the games we have played. And we're running a lot of the same plays with a lot of the same players. And so there has to be some other parts of the dynamics that we can continue to address. And like I'm going to continue to say it publicly, and I say it privately to our guys, they haven't blinked in regards to their resilience and their willingness to learn. Diggy's been around the world and back, and his story should be told at a higher decibel level. But I don't think that it should be told because he can score however many points he can score. His heart is beating for the right things. And his growth in the 6 months I have known him off the floor has probably been at a higher rate than it has been in a long time. Do I think he could score when he got here? Yes, sir. Am I happy that he scored? Am I happy that we won? I'm not negating what took place, and I do hope that there's translation, not at Illinois or at, where's the next one? Yeah, just any of them, the next 13. And because of where we're at in year one and all that volatility that has taken place, we're trying to take it whether we're in L.A. on one side of L.A. or the other side or whatever town the rest of these towns are. Like, hey, man, we're almost oblivious in some ways because our guys have been consumed with what our coaches have been trying to teach.
Hey, Buzz, I know you've played around with different rotations and lineups throughout the year. I think Miles today only had 7 minutes. Just curious what you've seen from him lately and what you hope to see going forward.
It is. I've said this about multiple players. Miles, Diggy, Gochi, Elijah, Solo. Solo doesn't start. I think George may have scored 2 baskets in Big Ten play. I think Alex scored his first basket today. Like, there's a lot of superlatives that have transpired, and not being sarcastic. After 3 weeks of what we've went through, regardless of the internet, we can only base it on what is taking place on a daily basis, not just the public consumption of the games. And what we've tried to do as best as possible is take what we're learning from the games and then make those into mini games in practice on what we're trying to improve on. And if you've lost all of your games in 2026, you're at the point of some of your prerequisites, that's kind of out. Like, can you help us right now? Down, back, down, on either side of the ball. And whether that changes going into Illinois, that will be based on what happens Monday and Tuesday before we leave, and shoot around on Wednesday. We're literally, we have 9 people that grade. Every single player has different responsibilities and roles on offense and defense and intangibles. And all 9 of us watch every single possession of every single day. And the first thing we do every day in the film room is we show every player in front of the entire program, this is your grade. So there's no confusion. So everybody has an opportunity for growth. Thank you.
Walk around to the outside.
Hey, at what point in the game did you realize this might be a special day for you?
When we won. That's probably when I figured it out. Obviously, felt hot. felt good going into the game. I felt the momentum from the team, and just seeing a couple shots go in, and they just telling me they can't guard you, be aggressive. But my team always gives me that confidence, so I felt good from the start. But really, when we got the win, that's when I was like, oh.
Were you aware you were chasing a single game record? Buzz said afterward that he didn't know until after the game. Were you made aware after the game or anything?
I knew, but I wasn't chasing it. I knew I could have. They would have let me take every shot, but obviously they was being physical, they was being aggressive, it was getting chippy, and I just think it was smarter for me to just not do that. I mean, if I made 2 free throws, it'd have been different. So I gotta make my free throws.
Elijah, when you see Diggy cooking like that, just what do you guys as teammates do? Are you trying to give him the ball more? Kind of how you playing along with him?
Yeah, get him the ball. Go screen for him. But yeah, it's just, I would say it's a testament to his hard work. Like, you know, seeing Diggy in the gym every day, after practice, before practice, I feel like he definitely gets the most shots up on the team, but probably just as much or more than anyone I've ever played with.
Hey, Diggy, I remember we talked before the season about what it would mean to make plays in front of this Terps crowd. I know you had a 41-point game earlier in the year, but to do it in a Big Ten game, first Big Ten win for Maryland this season, how did it feel, just the energy as you were scoring those buckets towards the end and when you walked off the court and got the reception that you did?
It feels great. You know, we appreciate the fans. I would say, like, when you're in the midst of the game, you're not even thinking about the fans so much. You just thinking about the guys you're going to war with and that you're fighting for. So that felt great. I mean, the whole night felt great, getting a win, being able to make some shots, which we've been struggling to do. So everything felt good. So just try to stay humble, though.
Hey, Elijah, Diggy, what's up, guys? Congrats on the win. You guys are 2 of the better three-point shooters on this team, percentage-wise. I think Elijah actually came in with a little higher percentage. Diggy, do you guys ever talk about this or compete, practice about who's the best three-point shooter on the squad?
No. You know, I feel like for myself at least, I try to just shoot open shots. You know, I feel like that's why I shoot a high percentage right now. Just try to shoot when I'm open. Diggy is Diggy, so it's probably a little different. His shot selection is a little different than mine.
Elijah, what was the defensive approach? You guys held them to 1 basket over the last 13 minutes of the first half. What was the approach? What was the execution?
I would say our approach was just to be the best we can be. We weren't really too worried about the opponent going into the game. A lot of the stuff that we have to do is just focusing on ourselves. In order to beat someone else, we have to not beat ourselves first. So I feel like we did that tonight, and that's why we went on that scoring.
And Diggy, you guys have been making strides the last couple of games, but haven't seen the results. What does it mean to have a Big Ten win in your bucket?
Obviously, it feels great, I would say. I've been focused on my spiritual life with my girlfriend, my best friend over there, best friends over there. So not trying to be result-oriented, trying to focus on the process. And we all been saying that in prayer. E leads a lot of prayers for us, and just trying to focus on, obviously we want to win, but we got to focus on how not to lose and how to put ourselves in best position to get what we want. So it obviously feels great to win, but more focused on the process.
Elijah Diggy, congrats on the win. Elijah, something that Buzz has talked about in some of these post-game press conferences recently is when you and Solo try to get into a foul trouble like later in the game, trying to find methods to try and either prevent that until much later in the game. Obviously tonight with the foul with a couple minutes remaining, what are some things you think or some approaches you think you might take to try and not get into that position?
Yeah, I'm not trying to foul. You know, sometimes I feel like you're just playing hard and trying to make the right plays, and it just happens. So trying to be more intentional with my body awareness and knowing when I have 1 not to get 2, and knowing when I have 2 not to get 3 or 4. So just being more aware in the game.
Elijah, you guys went a little over a month without a conference win. Getting that today, does that relieve a little bit of a pressure off your guys' back to have that now?
No. You know, right now we're second to worst in the league. So, you know, there's nothing really to celebrate when you're 1-6. So I would just say, like Diggy said, keep focusing on the process and keep trying to improve, because just because we won by 20, now we're about to play 2 ranked teams. So, you know, it's a tough league, and we got to keep our head down and keep working.
And then not going into the locker room at halftime. Had you ever done that before here with Buzz? Was like kind of what went into that? And what were your thoughts?
A lot of stuff I've never done before I came to play for Buzz. You know, it's just something that I've never been around a person who's so intentional with the fine details. You know, and Buzz is always looking for ways to try to improve. So did it help us? Did it hurt us? I don't really know, but you know, it was definitely something different.
Diggy, I know you mentioned not wanting to like chase the record, but on that last possession, I think it was Darius dribbling the ball, everyone on the bench sort of pointing at you, and you waved him off. Can you sort of just take me through like your thought process there and maybe the emotions of the day as a whole?
I think, like I said, focusing on process. A lot of times when you miss a lot of shots, you are hesitant to take the next one because you don't want to seem selfish. It's the same thing in reverse. When you're making all the shots, I don't want to make everything about me. And I feel like we got to win, and that's the most important, and we are winning. So I don't want it to be like, oh, it's my night, it's about me. Nah, it's about us. So that was really my mindset. I'm trying to treat everything the same. If I was 0 for 15, treat it. If I'm 14 for 23, treat it all the same. That's what I'm trying to do. So that's where that was coming from.